Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Okay, so I think we can start already. Again, the same problem pa rin tayo. Internet connectivity. Anyway, good afternoon to everyone. Isang maulan na hapon sa ating lahat. Kung saang panig ka man ng ating bansa. So today we are scheduled to discuss on the police operation or the continuation of our lecture, and we are already doon sa module 3 of our lecture. So I do hope you have a copy already of the module, I sent that to our Facebook group already, and you just download it, and yun na yung pagbasehan natin ng ating reference. Kasi I cannot be able to share again my presentation despite having prepared it already, no, due to poor internet connectivity. Okay? So nevertheless, let us start our discussion already. Just please be guided by the arrangement of topics on our lecture. Anyway, later on naman, when I'm going to upload the recordings of this lecture, kasama naman na yung presentation. Okay? So enough with that. Let us jump into our discussion. Today, our topic will be on police operation or PNP operations. Okay, so we basically finished discussing already the different concept and significance of planning and its significance to the PNP organization. Now, let's talk about the PNP operation, the powers and function of the Philippine National Police. No? Let us be guided that the topic for this session will be the following. First, we will going to discuss the powers and function of the PNP. Then we are going to talk about also about the functions of police officer. Lastly, we're going to talk about the police uniform, attire, and accessories. Okay, so those are the topics that we will be covering in today's session. Anyway, if you have questions, you may interrupt our lecture by asking or posting or messaging on the comment on the message box. No? Okay. So with that, let us jump into our first topic, the powers and functions of the police officer. This was stipulated on the Republic Act 6975, otherwise known as the DILG Act of 1990. So all of the things that we will be discussing, specifically the powers and functions of the PNP, were derived from the Republic Act 6975. No? And that 6975 is known as the DILG Act of 1990. So under the law mentioned, according to the law that we made mention, specifically under Section 24, it defines the different powers and functions of the members of the Philippine National Police. We're going to enumerate them. Now we have here the first and primary function of the PNP is to enforce all laws and ordinances relative to the protection of lives and property. We know for a fact that it's the primary duty of the PNP organization to enforce the law. No? Sila yung primary law enforcement body that we have here in our country. And also, so pag sinabi kasi nating primary, ibig sabihin they hold the power, and function to enforce majority or all of the law, whether that would be related to environmental law, di ba? patungkol sa mga violations on environment, like for example illegal logging, no, that are usually happening. We have laws for such thing, and meron ding enforcer ang ating DNR, ano? May enforcer ang DNR natin kung pagdating naman sa mga relative to traffic violations, specifically under the licensing, no? We have the LTO naman as their enforcer. So, yung mga divisions natin, like for example, with regards to fisheries, agrarian, they have their own enforcers. But for the majority, no, for the agency that holds general power to enforce laws, no, whatever classification it is, whether it's regarding it's relative to the environment, or it's related to firearms, it's related to drugs, it's related to businesses, and so on, the one who holds a general power to that is the members of the PNP organization. No? So, to distinguish them, like for example, ang forest ranger ba, can he have the power to enforce the traffic rules and regulations that we have in our country? Pwede niya bang i-enforce yun if he is an enforcer of the DNR? Hindi yun. No? Kumbaga, etong enforcer na to, specifically under DNR, ang kanyang limitations lang are mga violations regarding the laws that had created their agency. No? So, patungkol sa mga pagputol ng puno, no? Patungkol sa mga violations of environment, specifically with regards to the forest that we have, yung mga puno-puno natin, mga kabundukan natin, hanggang dun lang yung kanilang limitation, no? Pero ang ating kapulisan is not limited, no, to those things. I mean, they can enforce all laws that we have here in our country. Kaya nga, they are considered as a primary law enforcement body in the Philippines, no? So, not only that they can also enforce the different ordinances in different places where they are assigned, no? Hindi lang yung mga batas natin, pero kasali na rin if there is, for example, there is provincial ordinances, no? Doon sa place of assignment niya, pwede niya ring i-enforce yun as part of his power and function, no? We must remember, sabi nga natin that PNP is national in scope in terms of application. So, the entire country, saklaw or sakop niya, no, sakop ng kanyang jurisdiction, or meron siyang authority to enforce all laws in whatever part of the countries. Because with regards to their jurisdiction, no, with regards to their scope, no, of power, they are national, no, national. Okay. Another function of the PNP is to maintain peace and order and take all necessary steps to ensure public safety. Okay? So we know for a fact what peace and order means, no? And another function of the PNP is in maintaining such things. So whatever the circumstances is, no? Basta meron na tayong violations or meron na tayong crime that are being committed which threatens, of course, the peace and order of our country, then the PNP has all the powers and authority, no, to take all necessary steps in order to preserve the peace and order in our country, ano? So kapag ikaw ay isang pulis at nakakita ka ng isang taong nanggugulo na, no, which means he is already threatening the peace and order in that specific place, no? Medyo nakakagulo na siya, nagkakos na siya ng disturbance, nagkakos na siya ng chaos on that specific place, then you as a police officer have all the rights and duties, no, have all the powers accorded to you by the Republic Act 6975 to take all necessary steps to ensure the public safety. So that would include also yung pag-arrest na, if you are going to arrest him as part of the steps, no, na tingin mo yun yung ikakabuti, yun yung ikaka-restore ng peace and order diyan sa lugar, then you may do so, no? Another is the investigative power, no? The investigative power of the PNP. So they have the authority to investigate, no? Prevent crimes. They have also the authority to effect arrests of criminal offenders, no? And bring them to justice, and also assist in their prosecution. Sige, isa-isahin natin, no? For example, for investigation. So we have different activities that are considered as investigative activities, ano? Pwede silang mag-imbestiga sa mga bagay-bagay na merong kinalaman sa krimen, no? Kinalaman sa national security and so on, no? We know for a fact that there are a lot of investigator out there. Meron tayong mga private investigators, no? Meron tayong mga yung mga news investigators and so on, no? So etong mga ito, they have the right also to conduct their own investigation. But for the general function, no, of conducting investigation in borderless, kumbaga in borderless manner, meaning they're not limited by laws to conduct investigation on a specific thing, whether that would be a case of background check, or that would be a case of for the purpose of gathering evidences and so on. They have the authority. So ang police officer, no, ay maaaring mag-imbestiga ng mga bagay-bagay na kung saan is merong kinalaman sa krimen, merong kinalaman sa ating mga batas, at merong kinalaman sa ating national security, that they cannot be hampered to do such thing. Ano? Baka mamaya sabihin, bakit mo, halimbawa ikaw pulis na, wanted to investigate about certain crime, pumunta ka sa isang establishment, and you are interviewing the personnel there, ano? Ini-interview mo sila, that is conducting investigation. And the agencies or the companies where you are conducting your investigation may not argue that you are already violating whatever the rights that they wanted to invoke, you know? Kasi you are just doing your function as a police officer, and that is your function to conduct investigation. And also prevention of crime, so that would be involved the providing security, conducting activities and programs that has a relationship with proactive activities in order to prevent the existence of crime. Now, what is interesting here is the effect of arrest, no? Yung kumbaga is effect mo ng arrest. Question: does can a barangay tanod, no, effect an arrest? Pwede bang ang isang barangay tanod siya ang magdala ng warrant of arrest at arestuhin ang isang kriminal, no? Arestuhin ang isang kriminal. So we need to understand the concept of arrest, ano? Arrest is a legal document that states the crime that has been allegedly or had probably been committed, no? It also states there the name of the person who is probably guilty thereof, no? Also, it includes there the name of the peace officer or the police officer who is entrusted or is mandated by the law to effect the arrest. So, sinabi doon, law enforcer, no? Then, it must be signed by a judge. So, those are the criteria of a valid arrest. Now, with regards to the question, the general answer for that would be no. Kasi ang dapat mag-effect lang ng arrest ay yung mga tinatawag nating law enforcement agencies, and specifically the PNP. No? Other than that, they are no longer allowed to effect an arrest. However, no, if you're going to ask for the exemptions, no, the only exemptions to that is if the arrest that is being conducted is what we call the citizen's arrest. No? So kung citizen's arrest yan, that is the only time that, of course, an ordinary individual involving also the barangay tanod may effect an arrest, no? By virtue of the citizen's arrest, kung citizen's arrest yan. But again, there are a lot of legal issues with regards to that, ano? Marami tayong dapat pag-usapan dyan para maunawahan pa natin ng maigi yung concept ng warrant of arrest, maunawaan natin yung concept ng arrest, and at the same time, the exemption to the implementation or the in effecting the arrest, such as the citizen's arrest. No? Anyway, we are going to be covering that naman. We have a specific topic that will cover the subject matter, no, arrest and seizure. Okay, but then we must remember that, of course, with regards to the general duty in effecting an arrest, no, to criminal offenders, it is the function of the PNP organization, and of course, the to bring the offender to justice and assist in the prosecution. So the job of the police officer will not stop, no, when the case was already filed. You must remember that. Na kung ikaw ay isang police at ikaw ay isang investigador, hindi matatapos ang trabaho mo or yung tinatawag nating duty mo, no, kapag naisampa mo na yung kaso, no? If you are the investigator, no, it is likely that you will be called to testify. No, you will be called to testify in court regarding the case that has been filed, no, kasi ikaw ang tumatayong witness, kumbaga, ng ating prosecution to the crime that has been committed, no, as one of the officers who conducted the investigation, no. Kaya it is stipulated here under powers and functions that it is part of the duties of the law enforcers to assist in the prosecution of the crime. Ibig sabihin na kapag naisampa na yung kaso, no, ay sila ay kinakailangan pang makipag-cooperate sa ating fiscal, sa ating mga prosecutor, no, in giving testimony and providing other evidences that has something to do with the crime that has been committed. So, it's still part of the duty, ano yung court appearance nating tinatawag. That is why, no, it is pinag-aaralan din natin yung mga rules and procedures, rules and criminal procedure, no. Pinag-aaralan din natin yung court proceedings and so on, kasi nga kasali sa trabaho ng pulis yung tinatawag nating court appearance. At dapat ikaw, pag pulis ka, ay may alam ka, na hindi lang sa batas kundi sa proseso kung paano binibigay ang hustisya under our criminal justice system, no? Kaya dapat basa-basa tayo pagdating sa mga bagay-bagay na merong kinalaman sa criminal procedure or to the criminal justice system. Next is we have here the exercise the general powers to make arrests, as we had mentioned, no. Police officers have a general power to make arrests, no. Regardless of the nature of the crime, no, kasi baka mamaya sabihin mo, bakit police ang umaresto sa akin kanina nung wala akong lisensyang nagdra-drive? Di ba dapat LTO ang nag-arrest sa akin, no? O di kaya sabihin ni Pedro, bakit ikaw na pulis ang nag-aaresto sa akin, ang violation ko is drugs, dapat ang nag-aaresto sa akin is PDEA. O bakit ikaw pulis ang nang-aaresto sa akin, ang violation ko naman is regarding illegal logging, dapat ang pumunta sa akin mag-aresto ay the forest ranger under the DNR, no? O bakit ikaw ang nag-aaresto sa akin, yung violation ko is illegal fishing, no? Nandito ako sa karagatan, dapat ang mag-aresto sa akin the Philippine Coast Guard, whatsoever that excuses that as a citizen or criminal offender, a criminal would invoke, ano? Dapat you can explain that me as a police officer have a general power to effect an arrest, no, to in every crime that has been violated, no. Ako bilang isang police, whether I'm a local police, no, have the general authority as given to me by Republic Act 6975, no, to effect an arrest to all individuals who had violated crime. Okay? And that also includes yung tinatawag nating search and seizure. Now, that would also include the search and seizure. They also have the general power to do or conduct search and seizures as long as it is in accordance with the Constitution and other pertinent laws. No? So alam naman natin yung rules with regards to that you cannot effect, no? Hindi ka pwedeng mag-aresto ng isang individual if it is not by virtue of a valid warrant of arrest, no? Including the exemptions. At the same time, you cannot search a certain person or seize his properties or belonging without the valid, no, search warrant, no, as provided or because our Philippine Constitution protects us from such illegal activities as illegal arrest and illegal search and seizure. And so tandaan natin lahat 'yan na hindi lang na patungkol dito sa general authority ng isang police na mag-conduct ng arrest, pero dapat alam din niya yung tinatawag nating responsibilities, especially in effecting an arrest, no? So may mga rules dapat tayo na sundin, may mga patakaran or may mga batas tayo na dapat sundin, no? Nang sa ganun ay we will not be violating the Constitution and the different rights of the alleged criminal. With regards to detention naman, no? Detention is it refers to isolate. It refers to putting the person behind bars, no? Pag nilagay mo siya sa isang facility which is intended to hold potential criminals, no? While their trial is being investigated, no? And at the same time for those violators, no, na kung saan is, 'di ba, pag halimbawa ngayon we have curfews, no? Ang police ba may karapatan na hulihin ka at ikulong ka sa kanilang mga detention center, detention cell or lock-up jail nating tinatawag, no? Do they have the power to do so? Yes, of course, provided under their powers and function, police officer, the members of the PNP has the right to detain an arrested person. Of course, that is in compliance for the period, no, provided or prescribed by the law, no? So remember that we have crime of arbitrary detention and so on. So if you're going to detain a certain individual, it must be by virtue of a legal ground and it must be within the prescribed period only, no? Dapat kapag nag-detain, no? Kapag nag-detain ng huli, no, ng kulong ang isang pulis, ay dapat ito ay merong legal na basihan. At ang period ng time, no, kung saan is dinetain ng isang individual, no, ay susunod or pasok doon sa mga tinatawag nating rules with regards to detention, no? Depending on what crime is being alleged to them and depending on the seriousness of the matters that is being accused to them, no? Kasi pag medyo pinatagal mo ang pag-detain sa kanya, like for example, siya ay nahuli for curfew violation, dinetain mo siya ng let's say 1 week, no? 1 week mo siyang nilagay sa kulungan ninyo, then definitely that's a clear violation already of the human rights of that person, and that is already a criminal offense. Can either be arbitrary detention, no, and or illegal detention if conducted or if conducted by a private individual. What's next? We have here the with regards to the some of the auxiliary functions of the PNP members, no? Ang PNP ay meron ding powers and functions to issue licenses for the possession of firearms and explosive. That is in accordance with the law, no? So, para sa mga tao na gustong kumuha ng mga lisensya nila with regards to the possession of firearms, no, explosives, or any other similar instruments, saan kayo kukuha? Of course, doon sa ating mga kapulisan. So, they know the procedures on how it is done. But it's important that also you will be brief with regards to that function, no? Sa mga lisensya ng baril, saan mo yan kukunin? No? Sa LTO ba? Hindi. No? Ang mga lisensya ng baril, no, or mga explosives, kinukuha yan sa ating mga kapulisan. No? So they have a specific division in charge of such thing. No? Another function of the police is to supervise and control the training and operation of security agencies, no? And issue licenses to operate security agencies and to security guard and private detectives. Now, so if there are individuals who wanted to, train to become licensed security officers or security personnel, no? Saan kayo pupunta o saan kayo lalapit, no? Doon kayo sa ating mga kapulisan kasi it's part of their function to supervise and control, no? Sa pagdating sa pag-check if these agencies were offering security education, security training, no? Those who are those who are hiring, no? Those who are applying to become a security personnel or security officer, no? Iyan ay trabaho pa rin ng ating kapulisan, no? Tinitignan nila, sinusubaybayan nila, no? Na dapat lahat ng ating mga batas, no? At dapat lahat ng trainings that are necessary for security personnel or officers are given properly, no? That is why only upon compliance of the requirements prescribed by the PNP in terms of issuing of security license, no, or issuing security agencies their license to operate, no, ay dapat munang ma-comply nila ang mga ito, no? Dapat mapasa muna nila ang standard na sinet ng ating kapulisan, ng PNP organization, para nang sa ganun ay sila ay mabigyan ng security license or permit to operate as a security agencies. Meron din tayong mga tinatawag na private detectives, ano? If you will be willing to practice yung tinatawag nating to become a private detective or private investigator, ito kasi yung mga tao na kung saan they are hired to conduct private investigation, ano? Halimbawa, ikaw ay duda or ikaw ay naniniwala na yung asawa mo ay may kabit or may kalokohang ginagawa, no? Wala ka pa namang ebidensya na magpapatunay dito. Of course, hindi pa dyan makikialam ang police kasi there is no reasonable belief yet, no? Wala pang reasonable belief that there is a crime that has been committed. So the PNP will not yet do some certain actions. So usually ang ginagawa nila is they're requesting or they are seeking the service of a private detectives, no, or private investigator, no, na kung saan is pwede mo silang bayaran, no, depende kung ano ang kontrata ninyo, no, na kung saan is itong private detectives na to, siya ang mangangalap ng impormasyon, no, siya yung mangangalap ng ebidensya na pwedeng makapagpatunay na yung hinala mo, no, yung kuro-kuro mo ay posibleng totoo. And at that time, no, kapag may mga na-collect ng evidence and you're going to present that to the PNP, and probably they could have or they will be convinced already that there is a reasonable belief that a crime has been committed, and therefore they will already take a legal action, no, file a case against that person, no, and probably if swertehin is warrant of arrest will be issued. If the judge will also be convinced, then they may also already proceed to the conduct of arrest, no? So meron tayong mga ganyan, hindi yan nawawala sa ating lipunan, yung mga private detectives. And of course, if you are a criminology student or a criminology graduate, especially if you're a licensed criminologist, you have the advantages in that profession or in that field. However, no, before you can be considered as a legitimate private investigator or detectives, then you must secure first a license, no, from the PNP who would authenticate that you're indeed a private investigator, no? Baka mamaya kasi hindi ka naman lisensyadong private investigator, no? Sunod ka ng sunod doon sa iniimbestigahan mo, sampahan ka ng kaso, no? Pwede po 'yan. So unless you have the authority also to do so, as given to you or as authenticated by the PNP, then you may perform such activities, no? Yung mga pa-investigate ka dyan, no? Private investigator ka din, kailangan mo munang maging lisensyado, no? At kailangan mo munang kumuha ng license or approval from the PNP before you can practice such profession. Okay? So yan. So kung kayo ay maghahanap ng private detectives, private investigator para sa kaso ninyo or para makatulong sa inyo sa pangangalap ng ebidensya, make sure that you would request first, no, to see if he is a registered private investigator or detectives, no, kung meron siyang license as stipulated in the discussion that we made mention, dapat merong ibibigay, no, dapat siya ay authenticated by the PNP, no, na isa nga siyang private detectives or private investigator. Of course, there are functions, no, there are duties and responsibilities that we might have not mentioned, no. Pwede tayong may mga nabanggit na still ginagawa ng kapulisan, no? At yan ay pasok dito sa tinatawag nating paragraph H, no, wherein sabi dito PNP members, no, shall perform such other duties and exercise all other functions as may be provided by the law, no? So pwede silang bigyan pa ng other responsibilities, no, na wala sa ating mga nabanggit, no, if they are required to do so by the law, regardless if it's not part of their functions and duties, no, but basta meron tayong batas na nagre-require, no, or nag-uutos sa ating mga kapulisan na gawin nila ang isang bagay, no, as long as there is on a legal ground or legal basis, then they must perform such other duties. Okay? Now, we are starting already the different rules, no, under the PNP operational manual. I would like to acknowledge the references that I have, no. All the discussions from now on will be taken from the PNP operational manual, no, as the basis of the notes that I had presented to you, no. Yan ay nakabase sa ginagamit ng ating kapulisan bilang guide, no, doon sa pagkandak nila ng operation. Not only that it serves as a guide, no, but also it will serve or it will establish the different principles that the PNP or PNP members shall adhere in the conduct of operation, no. So let's say for example here on rule 1, no, under rule 1 kasi meron tayong tinatawag na functions of a police officer, no. So we partially discuss already the different functions of a police officer, but under the PNP operational manual, no, we are going to mention them again. So we know for a fact that one of the primary functions of the police officer is to serve and protect, no? Dapat itatak ninyo yun sa inyong puso't isipan that police officer's duty or primary duty is the service and protection, na kanino. Ayan ang tanong, kanino ka magsiserve at sino ang iproprotect mo? Kasi baka mamaya minsan nai-interpret kasi ito no. One police officer would claim, oh, I'm serving and protecting naman as part of my functions, no, as a police officer. Pero dapat ang binagbibigyan mo ng serbisyo is the Filipino citizens, no? Hindi naman Filipino citizens lang, but kumbaga is lahat ng tao that are within your jurisdiction without any racial discrimination, no? Without any discrimination as to their status, as to their gender, as to their age, as to their belief. Kasi baka mamaya sabihin, oh, bakit kita tutulungan? Foreigner ka dito sa aming bansa, therefore I don't have the duty to serve you. No? Mali po 'yon. Lahat ng tao na nandito sa ating bansa, saklaw ng ating batas, therefore they should especially if they're compliance to the laws that we have, no, kung sumusunod sila sa ating batas, then they deserve also a good treatment from the PNP organization, ano, especially enforcing the law. So pati sila saklaw pa rin ang tinatawag nating service, no, sila ay pagsaserbisyohan pa rin natin. Protection, no? Yung protection na yan, dapat binibigay yan, no? Over life and properties. Life and properties. What is being protected? Life, human life, and properties. No? Minsan kasi ay may mga ganito tayong circumstances na kung saan is instead that the police officers or public servant ay hindi na nagiging private servant na sila of some individuals or some officials, and sometimes yung mga officials na yan are corrupt individual, no? So kung ikaw ay magbibigay ng serbisyo, no, ikaw ay manunumpa na ibibigay mo ang iyong serbisyo, dapat yan sa taong bayan, hindi sa iisang grupo, hindi sa iisang tao, no? At minsan pa or madalas pa na kung saan yung mga taong yan are involved into illicit activities. So instead that you're serving the nation, no, you're serving Mr. Pedro, no, who is the drug lord, no, who is the mayor of that country, of that municipality. Mali na yon, no? Kasi ang service mo is directed to the people, not to some individual, no? Some individual, and especially if they are already, no, conducting or they are involved into illicit activities, maling-mali po 'yon, ano? Instead na sila ay proprotektahan ang ating mamamayan laban sa pang-aabuso, prinoprotektahan yung mga mapang-abuso. So maling-mali po 'yon. Serve and protect. Another thing that I wanted to point out here is serve and protect, not to be served and to be protected, no? Dapat ang ating kapulisan ay mangunguna sa pagbigay ng serbisyo sa ating bayan at hindi dapat sila ang pinagseserbisyohan, no? At also, no, dapat sila ay manguna sa pagprotekta, no, sa buhay at sa mga properties ng mamamayan ng ating bansa at hindi dapat sila ang pinoprotektahan, no? Remember that you are a public servant, no? Kung gusto mo palang ikaw ang sineserbisyohan, ikaw ang pinoprotektahan, dapat hindi ka na nagpulis, no? So yan ang ating tandaan. Keep that in mind, that as a police officer you should serve and protect, no? And you should serve the nation and protect its citizen, no? Hindi yung serve some corrupt individuals and protect its property. Okay? Another principles that we must remember also with regards to the different functions of a police officer is the observance of human rights and dignity, you know? So we know for a fact that we have a lot of human rights that must be respected, especially our right to life, no? Right to liberty, right to own property, and so on. So dapat ang police officer or ang PNP organization, in whatever operation that they will be conducting, in whatever program that they will be creating, no, dapat nakasaalang-alang dito yung tinatawag nating observance of the human rights, that there shall be no violation of human rights in whatever police operations or police programs that they will be creating, no? Kasi, no, one of dapat tandaan natin that isa sa mangunguna dapat na magprotekta sa ating mga karapatang pantao ay ang mismong kapulisan. It shall not be otherwise, no? As well as the human dignity, no? All personnel shall respect human rights and the dignity of the suspects, no, during police operation. Dignity of the suspect, not only the suspect but the general populace, no? Minsan kasi if there are biases, ito na-observe naman natin siguro, no? Without biases, that of course hindi naman lahat ng miyembro ng ating kapulisan ganito, pero minsan meron talaga yung mga nahahalo na iba na kapag sila ay mga aresto ng isang individual, they are torturing, no? They are using excessive force. Merong isang PWD noon na kung saan is inaresto ng kapulisan at hindi na preserve or hindi na nirespeto yung kanyang human rights bilang no, hindi na nirespeto yung kanyang dignidad bilang isang tao, na to the point that halos 4 yata silang dumakma, no? Pinadapa, pinagtulungan yung isang PWD. So those are the examples of police operations that had forgotten to respect the human rights of the suspect. Not because he is suspected to have been committing a crime, no, ay siya ay guilty na. Remember that our principle under the criminal justice system is all accused are considered innocent until proven guilty. So, kumbaga, kung inosente pa lang ang tingin ng ating criminal justice sa isang individual, then he is still entitled of all of his human rights, no, as well as the respect to his dignity. Kaya dapat pag nang-aaresto ang ating kayo, no, pag kayo ay mga aresto, pagdating ng panahon na kayo ay naging miyembro na ng organization, is that you must remember, no, that what you are arresting is a human being, therefore he is entitled of his human rights, no, and that what you are arresting is a person, no, and you must also respect his dignity. No? So yan yung ibig nating sabihin under the observance of human rights and dignity in whatever operation is being conducted. Okay? Yan, so let's jump on to Rule 2. Anyway, itong Rule 1 and 2 lang naman ang pag-uusapan muna natin ngayon. Ano? The rest of the rules under the PNP Operational Manual will follow kasi mahaba-habang discussion to. Okay? Under Rule 2, ang pag-uusapan natin dito ay ang tungkol sa police uniform, attire, and accessories. So, we have different uniforms, we have different attires and accessories that are being used by the PNP members. Ano? Nakita nyo naman siguro, napansin nyo naman siguro na meron silang iba't ibang sets of uniforms that are being used in different occasions. No? So if minsan nakita nyo silang naka-short, naka-jogging pants, tapos naka-t-shirt, no? Yan yung kanilang either athletic or ano yun? Yes, mostly as athletic and so on. But minsan nakikita nyo rin silang nakasuot ng fatigue, no? Yung parang sundalo, yung may camouflage and so on. And still, no? Ay meron lang silang sinusunod, kumbaga na patakaran with regards to the wearing of uniform. So under the police uniform, we must remember that the agency prescribed uniform, no? A police officer shall always wear the agency prescribed uniform for different, no, kind of police operation that is being undertaken. Merong isang prescribed uniform in different activities. No? Merong prescribed uniform in different operations. That of course suits the needs of the PNP members. No? So kung makita natin, no, kung nakikita natin na dapat na paiba-iba ang suot na uniforme ng ating kapulisan, that is prescribed by the agency itself, the organization itself, to suit the needs, no? Kumbaga sa ethics natin dito, no? So in different occasions dapat alam mong ibagay yung iyong kasuotan. So they have the same principles also on the PNP. Pag ikaw ay nasa opisina lamang, meron kang prescribed uniform. If you're going to conduct activities na kung saan is magkakaroon kayo ng public appearance, merong prescribed uniform for that. If you're going to be participating in different athletic activities, so meron din silang prescribed uniform to that. If you're going to be in an active combat, no, kung kayo ay merong ikakandak na operation na kung saan is either you're going to some places na kung saan is medyo malayo sa kabiasnan, no, meron din silang prescribed uniform for that, no? And the members of the PNP must respect those uniforms, no? And also with regards to the public appearance, sabi nga natin kanina, no, uniform is very important. That's why some of you, no, when asked with regards to police character, had defined, no, which I'm very much happy, no, that some of you views actually the PNP as decent in terms or in relation to their wearing of uniform. Kasi talagang isa yan sa tinitignan during training, no, even in the organization, they're very strict with regards to proper grooming. They're very strict with regards to your appearance in public, no? Dapat pag ang police is nandyan, nakikita ng public, is dapat yung kaaya-aya ang kanyang itsura, no? Maayos ang pagkakasuot ng kaniyang uniforme, no? So kasali na lahat 'yan, dapat planchado lahat, makintab ang sapatos, no? Walang kalakalawang sa kanyang mga accessories and so on, kasali lahat 'yan. Because appearance, no? Decent appearance, of course, nakakarespeto yun, nakakadagdag kumbaga sa respect that the public or the community will give them, no? If they appear to the public in that decent manner, no? Kung ang pulis na nandyan kulay orange na nga yung kanyang inner shirt, no? Mahaba pa yung kanyang buhok, tapos pagtingin mo sa kanyang pagsusuot ng uniform, hindi man lang na-plancha, hindi man lang napakintab ang kanyang sapatos, kumbaga nakakabawas yun ng respeto, no? At may tendency na sabihin nila, hindi yata talaga the police kasi hindi niya alam paano manamit, paano ayusin yung kanyang itsura, no, sa publiko. So napaka-importante yan, no, sa PNP organization. That's why majority of the members of the PNP, kung titignan natin, no, they're really very neat, no? They're very decent, they're very respectable when it comes to their appearance, no? Mapagupit, no? Pagplansya ng damit, no? Yung mga gamit nila, planchad, kumbaga is polish na polish. And how they act as an individual, no, is snappy, kumbaga. So yan yung isa sa mga character na kumbaga is nakikita natin that they will of course receive positive remarks, no? Okay, so alongside with the different different things that we discussed that will probably affect the appearance of the police to the public, no? Isa rin dito yung hindi lang, syempre baka mamaya minsan is ang ayos-ayos ng pananamit mo, no? Ang ayos ng mga uniforme mo, ang ayos ng gupit mo, pero nakikita ka diyan na kung saan is naninigarilyo, ano, nag-ML, ano pa, kumakain ng kung anong street foods dyan, no? Yung mga nagpapatrol, inabutan ng gutom, nagpansit. Ito yung mga minsan will affect their image negatively. Kasi kahit sabihin natin, normal lang yan kasi tao lang din naman sila. But then, try to imagine if a certain police officer, nakita mo, inabutan mo siya dyan, nagkakape habang nakasuot ng kanyang uniforme sa isang public cafeteria, no? Naninigarilyo, no? O di kaya umiinom ng alak habang suot ang kanyang uniforme, no? So there's a proper time to do that. I believe there's a proper time to do that, no? If in case na nagugutom ka, then why not go back to the station and doon ka na kumain? Kasi pag nakita ka ng ating mamamayan, no? Nakita ka ng public, no? Iisipin nila na ano ba naman 'yan, no? Na nagtratrabaho pero nandiyan kain-kain lang, pakape-kape lang, no? Payosi-yosi lang, pabasa-basa lang ng dyaryo, di kaya is palaro-laro lang ng mga online games and so on. That would impact, no? That would impact their appearance. That would impact the respect that they're receiving to the community. Masakit mang isipin, pero talagang ganon, no? And if you will become a police officer someday, remember that, no? It's part of your ethics, no? And as part of the mandates that is stipulated under the PNP operational manual. Bawal po yun, no? Bawal when you are on your active patrol duty, especially when you're wearing your uniform, no? Refrain from eating along the sidewalks, smoking, reading newspaper, and other similar conducts. Okay? We have also here the carrying of a police notebook, no? Police notebook, pen, and the Miranda warning card. No? Every police officer, no, who is conducting patrol, whether on board or a vehicle, no, must always carry with him a police notebook, a pen, and a Miranda warning card. Why? While you are conducting the police patrol, baka mamaya biglang meron ka ma-encounter dyan na crime. Eh, anong gagawin mo? No? You need to collect information. You need to respond. No? You need to get the names. You need to get the details. Eh, saan mo yan ilalagay? No? May mga instances kasing nangyari guys na rumisponde ang kapulisan. Pagpunta nila doon, they need to draw a sketch of the they need to draw a sketch of the crime scene as part of the procedure, no? Kasi pag nandun na sila, lahat ng pwede nilang makuha information, no? Habang kumbaga is fresh pa, hindi pa siya nako-contaminate, hindi pa nako-contaminate yung crime scene, dapat nare-record lahat. If they're going to interview some individual, no? Hindi lang yung tanong lang sila ng tanong, no? Dapat pag nagtanong sila, ililista nila yung mga impormasyon na nakukuha nila sa mga ini-interview nila, no? Kasi baka mamaya hindi mo sinulat, nakalimutan mo na. So, to make it better, no, dapat meron tayo or meron lagi ang ating mga kapulisan na dala-dala mga notebook, no? Yung mga pocket size lang naman, syempre dapat meron din silang mga ballpen, no? And most specifically the Miranda warning card, it will make or it will serve as a reminder for them that it will serve as a reminder for them of what should they say or what should they explain to the individual when he is being arrested. And also, meron kasi yung pinapaperma dyan no? Kasi baka mamaya sabihin, no? Sabihin ng isang hinuli mo na, sir, hindi niya ako binasahan ng Miranda rights ko. Marunong pala siya, no? Dapat pag binasahan mo ng kanyang Miranda rights, meron ka dapat ipaperma sa kanya that he would explain his Miranda rights, that he understood his Miranda rights, and so on. Kasi baka mamaya, makalimutan mo siyang papermahin, anong ebidensya mo? Anong ebidensya mo na binasahan mo siya ng kanyang karapatan? No, anong ebidensya mo na legal yung pag-aresto mo sa kanya? So that's why, as part of their accessories, dapat meron din silang mga ganito. That is very important, especially when you are on an active patrol. No? Next, carrying of non-lethal weapon. No? Minsan kasi, kadalasan ng tinitignan lang ng iba is dapat ready or dala nila yung kanilang baril at dapat meron silang mga bala. Okay? Actually, what is shocking under the PNP operational manual is that ang dapat dala-dala nila, no, when they are conducting patrol and so on is yung mga tinatawag nating non-lethal weapon, no? What are considered as non-lethal weapon? Yung mga pepper spray, no, yung batuta, stun gun, yung mga ganun ba, no? Rubber bullet gun, mga ganun. But then, as you can see, right now, hindi na masyado yun yung nakikita nating dala ng ating mga kapulisan, They are usually carrying mga lethal weapon. And we are talking about firearm, no? In other countries, like for example in Japan, in other police forces of different countries, in Korea, as you can see, hindi lahat ng ating kapulisan, they carry firearms, no? Hindi baril yung kanilang dala-dala. Okay? Ano yung dala nila? Mga non-lethal. Mga teaser gun, mga ganun. Yung may pag pinutok mo, makukuryente siya. Mga ganun yung mga dala nila. Bakit kaya sa Pilipinas, ang dala ng ating kapulisan, baril? Kasi the only exemption for this, no, is when the area where you are conducting patrol is considered as a high risk. High risk. Ibig sabihin mataas ang kriminalidad doon sa area na 'yon. Doon ka pwedeng magdala ng mga tinatawag nating lethal weapon, no? But then in areas such as halimbawa naglalakad ka lang diyan sa palengke, no? Nagpapatrol ka sa palengke, nagpapatrol ka sa isang subdivision, nagpapatrol ka sa isang barangay, no? If that is not considered as high risk, then why carry firearm? Kasi minsan dito nagiging problema, no? They're carrying firearm. So, minsan with the slightest provocation, nabubunot nila yung kanilang baril. At alam mo na, pag kinalabit, pinaputok mo na yan, tinutok mo sa isang tao, pinaputok mo na yan, hindi mo na pwedeng hilain pabalik, no, yung bala ng baril. Once the trigger is pulled, no, you can no longer control the bullet, no, and when the bullet hit the person, then that is already a threat to his life, no. Pwede na niyang ikamatay yan, hindi mo pwedeng, ay, bawiin ko. Or hindi pwedeng bawiin ng pagsisisi ang nawalang buhay minsan. No? Hindi pwedeng bawiin ng sorry, or hindi pwedeng bawiin ng dismissal, no, ang nawalang buhay because of a mistake. No? So there should be regulation with regards to the carrying of lethal weapons for police officers. I do believe that, no? Para maging less reliant sila sa mga baril at maging highly capable sila with regards to the use of defensive tactics and many more, no? Also with the use of yan, at least pag siya ay binaril mo ng stun gun, hindi siya mamamatay, may stun lang siya, no? So kahit nakalabit mo siyang ganyan, na walang buhay na mawawala. Kung nagkamali ka man, at least walang pagsisisi kasi nga hindi naman nawala ang buhay, kundi there's only a temporary paralysis. Yan. Okay? So, that's with regards to that, we must remember that they are required, of course, to carry a weapon, but mostly the weapon that is allowed for them to be carried is non-lethal. Now, only with exemption of high-risk area, no? Kung alam mong maraming criminal dyan sa lugar na yan, maraming may baril dyan sa lugar na yan, huwag ka nang magdala ng batuta kasi nga, syempre, mas hindi ka irerespeto kasi alam nila that you are not properly equipped. No? So, those are the only exemption. If you are patrolling in a high-risk area, then that's the time that you should be required, no, to carry a lethal weapon. But nevertheless, if you are conducting your patrol or duties in areas where hindi naman high risk, no, then hindi naman kailangang magdala ka ng baril. Okay? That's it with regards to the topics that I had prepared for you today. No? Rule 1 and 2 and the different functions and responsibilities, powers and functions of the police under Section 24 of RA 6975. Okay? So, it's now time for you to ask question. Meron ba kayong mga tanong? Nice, meron. Yes, Jobert, paulit. Sa module na to, sir. Yes. Na-upload ko na doon sa ating Facebook group. Ano nyo na lang, i-download nyo. Free naman yung access nyo. I-download nyo doon kasi 20 pages ito. Then madadagdagan pa. Prepare na kayo. Yes, magbasa-basa na kayo kasi malapit na yung exam natin. Any more? Okay. Don't worry guys, John Ford. Don't worry, merong naman, may nire-record ko. So, i-upload ko na lang siya pag okay na. Thank you, sir. Welcome. Any more? Wala na siguro, sir. Wala na. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then thank you very much for attending our lecture. I do hope you learned something. No? Wait na lang for the upload para doon sa mga hindi masyadong magandang signal gaya ko, na i-upload naman natin. And please do download the module that we have, no, doon sa ating Facebook group para may reference kayo for the incoming or upcoming prelim examination. Okay? So that's it for today, guys. Thank you all for listening. See you on the next lecture. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, welcome.